Most landlords get this completely wrong, and this is why they feel stuck. You really only have a little bit of time between your job and managing your properties, but instead of finding the next deal, you're chasing down tenants, trying to make sure they're paying their rent, chasing down contractors, and you just feel like you don't have enough time to actually even find your next deal. Maybe you have your next deal, but it didn't work out exactly how it was supposed to on the spreadsheet. And you're drowning and you're trying to figure out, how do I increase my income so that I can actually make money? You heard about this term systems, but what does that even mean? You know that you're missing something, but you have no idea what it is that you're missing. If this is you, I get it. I've been there. You own the property, you're doing the work, and on paper, everything should be working, but you still feel stuck. The cash flow isn't really matching the effort. The repairs keep popping up, and it feels like you're spinning your wheels and you're wondering if this is even worth it. I've been there. My name is Erica Brown. I'm a real estate investor and educator who went from zero properties to over 38 properties using strategies that work in real life, not just on paper. And now I teach everyday landlords how to grow their portfolios without burning themselves out and without draining their savings as well. I'm hosting a free class called The Biggest Roadblocks Keeping Landlords from Scaling and How to Fix It, January 20th on Zoom for absolutely free. And I want to help you get clarity so that you can get to a place of actually making money and growing your portfolio in 2026. Go to the link below and join my class and learn more. Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Within Reach. And I have a good one here for you. I mean, it's juicy. It's so juicy. We are talking about ways that you could increase your income as a landlord without having to buy more properties. Yes, I said that, without having to buy more properties. Let's get into it. All right. So, 2026, you have an amazing opportunity this year. If you can stabilize your rent, you can get the margin that you need to open up some super unique creative financing on some new deals in the future. Before we even get to the new deals, though, I believe in the value of squeezing all of the lemonade out of your lemons before you jump into the next property. All right. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about ways that you can increase the income on the properties that you already had. My last episode was all about decreasing your expenses. So now today we're talking about just ways that you may have not even thought about, of ways that you can actually help to increase your income this year. Let's get into it. Quick reminder though, I'm hosting a free class January 20th called The Biggest Roadblocks Landlords Face from Scaling and How to Fix It, January 20th for free through Zoom. Make sure you are in that class. I'm breaking down all the things. I mean, I'm helping you to see what you're missing that's keeping you from scaling. And I'm going to give you the antidote of how to fix it. It's free, it's live. At the end of our time, I'm going to have a Q&A. It's going to be good. So be sure to not miss that class. All right. The link is in the show notes for you to register. All right. So now, there are multiple ways that you can increase your income. This was one of my biggest focuses in 2025 is stabilizing, especially I fired my property management company. I rebooted my in-house property management company. We reactivated our systems, hired a property management assistant. I'll do a whole episode about that whole journey later. But after we got to a place of stabilization, before I decided to buy more properties, which I'm not even sure if I want to do that because I'm in the phase where it's like, okay, we're focused on paying off properties versus buying new. I wanted to make sure we're maximizing the income that we have on our properties. Okay. One of the most important parts that I teach my clients when I'm teaching how to invest in real estate is when you buy properties, it's important to have multiple exit strategies when you buy a property. I never, never, never want you to buy a property and you just buy it for just Airbnb or you buy it for just Section 8 because you never know what will happen. What if the regulation changes in the area and you no longer can do Airbnb? What if, what if something changes and you no longer want to do Section 8? Whatever. I've had some properties that I've leveraged three or four different rental strategies on, and that's why it's important to have multiple exit strategies when you first come in. Okay. The number one way to increase your income in 2026 is to adjust your rental strategy. All right. So earlier, I talked about the importance of making sure you're keeping up with your bookkeeping, you're doing your annual portfolio review so you know how much your property is actually making. Once you determine that, then you can actually compare, okay, if I had this property as a short term rental versus having it as a long term rental, how much more money could I make as a short term rental versus long term rental? Maybe you're in a situation where the expenses have changed, your insurance jumped up really high, or maybe your property taxes jumped up really high, and now you're in a negative cash flow situation. Well, maybe pivoting to a midterm rental or short term rental can help you to increase your rental income per month. And it gives you some really sweet bonus tax incentives too that can help you as well. We're going to talk about that in a later episode. Just make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it because that's a good one. But being able to pivot your properties that are underperforming by simply changing your strategy can be a game changer for you in 2026. Whether you are thinking about getting into midterm rentals, short term rentals, if your market allows it, or even a strategy that we're pivoting towards is co living, renting your house out by the room, especially when affordability is still a major issue. People are really having a hard time paying rent. And so being able to rent it out by the room versus just a whole entire property, if it's a single family home, can be a game changer. So being able to adjust your rental strategy can easily increase your rental income in 2026. Here's another way, number two, how you can increase your rental income in 2026 without even buying another property. Again, I am all about how can we squeeze all the lemonade out of these lemons. Maybe your property has an additional space that you're not using that you can turn into an actual unit to rent out. Maybe you have a basement that you can renovate. Maybe you have a garage that you can convert into another unit. These are all ways that you could actually begin using your current space to create more income without having to actually go and buy a new property. I've known people that they have an RV or they'll buy an RV, and if there are no restrictions in their neighborhood, they'll park an RV in their backyard, and then now they have a ADU, a accessory dwelling unit, and now they have a new stream of income to help pay for things, to help increase their income in 2026. I love this strategy because you can easily use some of the equity that you have in your property to then create new units. And I like this because you don't have to pay more property taxes. You don't have to pay more property insurance because everything is being done under the same property. So even though you may have to add some investment into it, you're not creating a whole nother set of expenses because you're just converting a unit within your existing property to increase the units, which is great. I love this because sometimes I'll buy properties and I'll do the renovation in phases where I'm like, okay, the first phase is we're just going to do this. And the second phase, we'll come back and we'll renovate the basement and add a unit. And that allows me to buy the property, get the property going, get it stabilized, get it rented, start accumulating equity. And then over time, as the equity accumulates, then I go and use the equity to then, make the investment in the property, add the unit, and then it pays for itself. I love that option as a way to add additional income without having to buy a whole new property. The third way that you can increase your income in 2026 is reducing your vacancies. And I know that it seems like, okay, of course, reduce our vacancies, but it's not just filling units, it's making sure that you keep tenants from moving out. Maybe it's a situation where you offer an incentive for your tenant to renew their lease so that they don't move. Maybe it is a situation where you need to focus on fixing maintenance on particular properties quicker so that your tenants will be happy so that they'll stay. People don't realize that anytime someone moves out, you have to go in, you have to repaint the property, you have to probably do reflooring. You could potentially lose all of your profits for the entire month just, fixing the property for the next tenant. So any type of way you can keep your tenants inside your properties and reduce your vacancies, that alone will help you to increase your income in 2026. Okay. So what ways are you looking to increase your income in 2026 for your properties without even buying another one? Let me know in the comments. And again, as always, thank you so much for listening to another episode. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a beat. I'm always sharing, and I don't just share for people who have been investing for a long time. I also share information for people who are just starting out or people who are interested in investing in real estate. But thanks so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye.